Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Hangoutlander. We're so glad that you're here. If you're here and you're on Twitter and you're talking to us, hashtag Hangoutlander, so that we can see everything that you're saying or, add us at @_normal. I'm Beth and I'm here tonight with Becca and Nikki and Julie, and we're discussing A. Malcolm, the print shop episode of season 3 of Outlander. If you're listening to us via podcast, hello. And it's not like we have sponsors or anything, so it doesn't really matter. But hey, the hey to the podcast people.
Shout out.
We love podcasts. I'm glad you're listening to us on your commute, yo. And I'm having a beer, and it's super refreshing. And I've had the same type of beer every Hangoutlander for the past several weeks. And this week, I'm definitely having a second because it's very refreshing, and I'm about to down that one. Also having peanut butter M&Ms. I'm very excited to talk about this episode. If you can see my tagline, it says something about there's too much sex. I'd like to get back to Willoughby, please. And I really mean that. We'll see why in just a little bit. Everybody say hi. Becca, say hi.
Hi. My tagline is also about sex. It's the very best of Outlander sex and the very worst, which we'll also discuss. Because obviously that's like the big takeaway from Outlander this week, right? Every article we've seen on the interwebs, every headline has been like, the Outlander sex you're waiting for. Like, why this week's sex in Outlander has been the best sex you've ever seen on TV. And we will discuss all of those things and if that's true. A reminder to those of you watching us live, one of the benefits of watching us live versus the podcast is that we give away a prize every week to the live listeners, watchers. And so this week is the same as normal. Nikki is manning Twitter, so Nikki will be reading some of the best tweets, and we just pick somebody randomly. So interact with us, make us laugh, and you could win something. We've got plenty of things in our Outlander box. We've got some really good prizes, actually, so you'll want to win something this week. And then we also have some comments happening on YouTube. I'm manning those over there, so if you're watching us, feel free to say hi, ask questions, and I'm drinking wine. I'm very tired. My sister had a baby this morning, but I'm here. Nick.
I was on mute. Hi, everyone. I'm Nikki. I'm drinking water from a Swell bottle that's falling apart. Brand new. Anyhow, using using hashtag Hangoutlander. Use it so we can follow you. My tagline says the Breakfast Horse Club, because they were one of the better parts of this episode. So if you're one of them, tweet me. Go for it, Julie.
Hi, I'm Julie. I'm just drinking wine, and my tagline is also about sex, and that when I was tweeting last night, I just said I liked a certain sex scene more than I liked another sex scene. And if you know anything about math, you'll figure that out quickly. So yeah, so it's also about sex, because that's all this episode was sex, and more sex. And I can't believe we're going to kind of complain about it a little bit, because I'm kind of shocked about that, but we are, but not too much. So yeah.
Sorry, I'm supposed to be leading this charge. And I'm like, everybody's so excited to be here. We have a ton of people saying hi on Twitter. And I'm just trying to say hi back. And I'm missing some of you because I can't do that very well. But hi, everybody. We're glad that you're here. So let's get started. We're getting straight into this episode. And there's not a lot to say about the opening. I think that it was great. If you read us on the blog, my recap was about the opening. I thought it was just great to just drop into a day in the life of A. Malcolm, just kind of see what he's like as a dude who, is cosmopolitan. I love his little hat tip to everybody as he's passing him, headed from home to his business. And he's so adorable, and he's so happy and proud of himself. He's you could tell he's so proud of his little venture and everything. And he's got his little cohorts, and I loved it. And my only quibble is how in the world Sam Heughan's legs are still so small.
They skip leg day.
That was a live Blurtlander, guys.
Live Blurtlander, who hasn't watched an episode and didn't read my recap. So the skipping leg day was all him.
I didn't even hear that. He just said skipping leg day?
He goes, because he's been skipping leg day.
It's true, though. It's true. Sam Heughan, your peak challenge. It needs to be your what is it, like the peak and then the valley. We need to do my valley challenge, and we need to go back to the leg days, buddy. Do something.
I feel bad for him. I think he tries. And in real life, his legs don't look that skinny. Maybe it's just the breeches. Because like, didn't men have to like stuff their calves? They stuffed stuff into their stockings to make it look like their calves were bigger back then. That was super handsome. Yes, back then. And in like for another 100 years, because like in Jane Austen's time, men would like stuff their calves, their stockings, with just like toilet paper or what, not toilet paper because they didn't have that, but like they would stuff it so their calves looked real big and round. That was supposed to be very attractive. Big calves.
It is so interesting how different it is, because then we're going to talk about it eventually. But like as they're undressing Claire and the millions and millions of layers, and you got her bum roll or whatever it's called, like she looks really curvy, and then suddenly she's like not at all. Like, how do you know if you're attracted to someone? Like, are you attracted to somebody who like wears the latest fashions? Are you attracted to somebody who's curvier versus like she's a really skinny woman? Like,
people were attracted to their minds and souls, Becca. It was a pure time. It was a pure time. You could have had back knee from nape to navel, and your husband wouldn't have known. So like he'd already bought the horse, and there's nothing that you could do about it. Like you had to make love to the girl with the back knee, and it's just how it worked.
Even then, most of them probably just kept their shifts on, so they probably never even saw it.
That's right.
Jamie kind of has back knee. It looked like just like shredded cheese on his back. I was like disgusted during that sex scene.
Someone said on
like, I was like,
it was like rubbery, like moving, right?
Gross.
It didn't even like fade after time. It actually got worse, and you're just like someone just give him some cream. Like,
don't you think it would have gotten worse? I think it would have gotten worse.
Scars start to fade.
Scars. I have a scar right here that's you cannot see anymore, but I can like faintly see it from scars.
But we have modern medicine and Jergens, and he had prison and like really rough linen, and that's it.
Well,
I don't know. Somebody will actually ask about the time.
Oh Jesus!
Let us know if that will be realistic.
I thought you said somebody did.
No, somebody should. Somebody needs a well actually ask. Let us know if you have a medical background. What do you think about the scars and their fading in the 1700s, 18th century?
Somebody on the blog said they thought they were more gnarly. Like his scars were more gnarly.
And I think it was that scene that was moving.
Yeah, like a
maybe
ripple,
one of
like
the
when you drop a rock in a.
That's what it looked like. What, Nick?
I was gonna say maybe one of those like prosthetic back pieces that they use was just like a more rough, version.
Yeah,
like they didn't have the original. I don't know.
I just don't think they didn't glue it on completely, and so when he was like thrusting, like the movement was like
started rippling and like breaking apart
like an accordion. Somebody and they were like, "It's too late. Don't call cut. We've done this 12 times." So
it also still feels like such a focus, right? Like we've been through that. Like he got these scars in prison, like. Great. They can still be there. You can still see him, like acknowledge, like, oh, he got beat up, like it was terrible. But like, we don't need to talk about that again.
Well, I feel like they were focusing on it because they were doing this. We're so skipping ahead to the sex, but they were doing this like major flash of all of Jamie's body parts. Here's Jamie over here by the fire. Here's Jamie over here by the bed. Here's Jamie standing over her, and it was just like he's naked, he's naked, he's naked. And so I just felt like they were really trying to show him off in a stupid way. And so that's why we were seeing so much of his back.
I have to share the funniest freaking tweet ever about this from Heidi. She said her husband, Mark, saw his skinny legs and asked if Jamie had the same disease as Colum.
Tell Mark to quit reading my recaps and then try to capitalize on them later.
Did you?
Yes. I said Jamie is his Uncle Colum's nephew.
Oh.
I missed it.
It's okay.
Over on YouTube, Therese Ann D'Ambrosia says, "Who cares about the scars? Let's talk about that ass." And then we're literally getting right into it, right? Because Emma wants to know if anybody was waiting to see if we were going to have full frontal, which, like, yes, it crossed my mind.
I thought we were. I mean,
it did cross my mind.
I didn't think that would happen.
I would have been surprised, but it felt like it was the moment.
I think
that
we
it was gonna
I
happen.
think we would have gotten it confused with one of his legs. Like James really skipped leg day.
It probably would have been bigger. Oh, his
3
legs are fine.
pencils.
Never mind.
It's
Oh,
like
no.
it's like a comparison. He really did skip leg day that day.
That's terrible.
It is. We're sorry, Sam Heron.
Sorry, you're lovely.
Sorry.
Lovely.
Great.
They have not had an opportunity to show Jamie's full frontal because every time he's naked, he's supposed to be aroused, and they can't show that.
Oh.
Is that just straight up porn? They can show a woman's everything, but you can't show a man's.
I mean, I guess they could. They do in American Gods.
They show erections?
Oh, yes.
Not of the main characters, though, right?
Not
That's
shadow.
like a bridge too far for like a main.
Yeah, they have not shown like Shadow's full erection, but they have shown.
Darn it.
They have shown throwaway characters, and then like one fairly main character. Yeah, we've seen. Yeah, he has. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think they could. I just don't think they ever will.
Well,
I don't want them to. I do not want
either.
No.
They do not do that.
No. Yeah.
No, and personally, I'm gonna say it. It's gonna be off, but I don't want to see Sam Heron's ding dong because in about a month, Hallmark's gonna play Princess for Christmas, and I just cannot watch that masterpiece and think I've seen his Little Prince.
What's his dance? His like terrible dance.
Like that thing that he does.
He does
Just
this
thinking
one.
about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is
like
this one
every.
called?
It's called a white guy.
White
White guy.
dance.
It's a
white
Liz
guy at
Lemon
a-
dance.
White guy at a wedding dance.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh my god.
We've got a whole bunch of porn happening over on YouTube. I mean, not really, but that's the thing that happens. Emma's saying, what's better, an erect penis or a flaccid penis? They're both awkward to see.
Oh, true.
It depends.
I like them.
In real life.
In
I
real
have a
life, that's
preference.
totally different. Yeah.
Yeah. On
I don't-
TV, I've never seen an erect penis other than outside of porn. And in real life.
You didn't watch American Gods?
No, I didn't.
I feel like they
Sorry.
show on Sex and the City too.
yeah.
Remember?
No, I don't remember a penis.
They don't, I don't think they ever showed like it out of the pants, but they've shown it like in the pants.
in the
like,
pants.
like knocking stuff off the tables.
Yeah.
There,
That happens a lot.
Courtney asked, no full frontal. She said, no full frontal for dudes. I guess we're supposed to feel okay about it because we don't see the honeypot either. And I was wondering about that. I'm like, okay, well, we're seeing her boobs. What are we going to see in Sam's? And like, but you see his ass, but then you see her ass. Like, it's not fair. Like, tit for tat, man.
It's not quite.
Tit.
Yeah.
Tit
Right.
for
Like,
tit.
his chest is not the same as her breast. Like, it does feel unbalanced. That's my only thing. Like, show body parts, but like, make it balanced.
Okay, and go ahead, Beth. Go ahead.
If we're going to talk about Katrina's boobs or Claire's
say.
boobs, not Katrina's boobs, we have to discuss the fact that they looked super weird.
Thank you.
And I said, I watched this episode months ago and I've been dying to be like,
Humble brag.
what is going on with these boobs?
Months ago.
I couldn't tell if it was lighting or if it was a prosthetic or if she had a bad boob job. And I just wanted to cry because I didn't think it was fair that just because she's supposed to be like 47, her boobs got wonky in that meantime, and she's not covering them up and not doing anything to like make them not look so bad. I felt bad.
Now,
I
let's
did
have a
not like-
reminder of the audience, because we've said this before. Katrina's boobs normally, as we've seen them before, look exactly like yours. So we have a great reference why they look so different, because your boobs don't look like what we saw last night.
No.
No, they don't.
I
They look
put a
like
poll.
Katrina in the wedding episode. That's what they look like.
Yeah, I think what kind of not angered me, but made me go, because when I watched it last night on a television, like high definition, I was like, okay, I think they did do something with like makeup. Like you could see like lighting and certain things, but I was just like, you know what? How come she gets aged and all Jamie has to do is wear bifocals?
Put some glasses on.
Yeah. Oh, and he can just take them
Double
off.
standards again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like he should have some sloped boob too. I mean,
It should. This should all be a little bit more hangy.
and a
Where's-
little more gray hair somewhere. but not, she just gets the boob, like a boob job, and not the boob job you technically want, but like.
She did mention that Jamie has more hair on his chest.
Yes,
like,
that's true. She
But,
didn't say like you have a hair coming out of your ears, or like something like that's like more.
This is something gross. What's this one on your back?
Right.
Should have been like, your belly button is a little flabby now, because like old men's belly buttons are always just like a little bit loose.
Yeah. Or
There's
like,
even, like,
there's more skin tags on you. I don't know. Like, I brought something back from that will help
I could
with
just
that.
clip those right off. So there's some
Yeah.
good YouTube comments. Therese again says, I feel like I've seen Kate's boobs more than my own. That was a good one. Andrea thought that her posture was off or something, like she was sticking her stomach out. Like there was definitely something I think they did intentionally to make her body look different.
Yeah.
Liz Golden thought that her boobs have always looked wonky. Sorry, Beth. She thinks you got wonky boobs.
Mine are perf. Okay, they're perfect.
Yeah, Heather thought there was a body double for one scene because it just did not look the same.
Oh, maybe.
So we're not alone in thinking that there was some difference, something that they did to.
Yeah.
There was a definite slope to them, like that. Like if he's feeling her up, he would just be like, "Wow, oh, sorry," Like I said, I'm like, why did they have to age her and not just age him? Come on.
And let's get into the fact that we were watching them get undressed for so long that we
that's why we
had
know
all
this
of this
shit,
time to dissect what her tits looked like. It was such a dumb way to even do it. If we were if we're concerned about the fact that the sex scene felt weird, which think a lot of people are concerned about, like in the book, they get under the covers and like touch each other. Like they don't stand and undress like they did in this one. And that would have made a whole lot more sense for their situation anyway. And so it was awkward and dumb. And then we wouldn't be having this conversation about whether or not she had on Jenny's old boob prosthetic or something else, because we wouldn't have had to have that really awkward undressing. I hated it.
Yeah.
It just felt like, I think everyone has said it, like obviously it was a recall to their very first time, but why? This isn't their first time. Like there can be some awkwardness. There can be some like long foreplay, but like make it worth the episode. I think the first 5 or 10 minutes are the best part of the episode. Like them reconnecting, them talking, and then awful voiceover, which killed everything for me. And then long random foreplay undressing scene.
The foreplay for me was like the dinner, the hands brushing, the looking in the eyes, like that. I think leading right to like the sex probably would have been more realistic for me.
Yes.
Like you're like desperate for each other, like get it over with, and then have your like
hurry it up.
Build the tension with those like little moments. Like you're saying, you don't need to do that ham-fisted voiceover again. Just zoom in on the hand, zoom in on the look. Like
the touching. I think even the undressing in the wedding episode took less time than the undressing on this. I mean, it was like watching every single damn button.
You counted, right, Beth? Did you put this in your post?
Yeah, there was 5 minutes of undressing. There was 1 minute of foreplay from the nose crunch to when she tells him to just put it in and don't be gentle. 1 minute. And then 45 seconds of thrusting.
Yeah.
And then later on, there's this really sweet moonlit scene where they're having sex under the covers, just like looking at each other. And you can tell he's just like moving her hips on him. And that one is great. I mean, like that one didn't bother me at all. And I felt like it was well handled and I didn't have to worry about what their bodies look like, and you couldn't really see it, but like they're connecting and they're looking at each other's eyes. Kind of awkward, but only because we had just had so many minutes of sex.
Right.
And so if it had just been that, it would have been fine. I just think that they don't really they don't get the pacing of the show when they're trying to hit these like female gaze markers. Like, have we ticked off all the boxes? Have we seen Jamie in a certain amount of undress? Have we shown that Claire's a powerful sexual woman? Have we also shown that she's vulnerable? Okay, tick, 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 tick. It's 20 minutes long, but that's okay. We hit all of our like little tick boxes that we do because we're the female show. We're the feminist show. We got to show it this way. And it's boring. And like Becca turned it off in the middle of the sex. I'm embarrassed because I feel like I know them and I don't like to watch them like give each other looks and get naked. I just like want to get on with the story. And it's just awkward and weird.
You're sitting in your living room embarrassed like you're watching your friends have sex.
Yes.
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 And I think too, by having them do that whole undress scene and taking so long, it killed the passion. In fact, I think the undressing of Geneva and the sex with Geneva should have been the sex. That's how they should have handled Claire.
Yeah, that's being said that on. So we have brainwashed everybody in the world because the YouTube comments just are agreeing. So if you disagree and you're commenting on
let us know.
YouTube, speak up, because what are the Twitter comments saying, Nick?
Oh, people are going crazy. I think I've retweeted like 40 people because it's so good. Anna Chuchulo, the scarf tying for 11 minutes was not necessary. The voiceover from hell was the worst. Give me more chatting and grape groping.
Yeah.
Courtney, that was the sexiest bunch of grapes ever.
Yeah,
and then my
Geneva. Yeah.
Cheryl Tom says the dinner scene is excellent on mute.
And that's sad because this is the episode and they promoted it. And if you went to Comic-Con or heard anything about Comic-Con or saw photos, this is the print shop. This whole episode has been the episode that everybody has wanted and Stars has promoted. So for us to be like sitting here going, hurry it up, that's sad. For me, that's like, oh, you guys kind of missed the mark a couple of times. And you're right, it is about pacing. And it's like they haven't been able to catch what the correct pace is for this show. It's like, okay, you've had 3 years. You guys have to figure this out at some point. And I just felt like,
it, right? Like, how much did we love the last 10 minutes of last week's episode?
Yes.
And then there was some moments of this that were great. And then the last 10 minutes of this episode, we'll get there. We're like, not the last 10, but like we hated it, right? Like the last 3.
Yeah.
But let's talk about what we did like, because the beginning of this episode, we've kind of gone into the sex enough. I feel like we made our point.
Yeah.
But the beginning of this episode is great. I mean, it's practically word for word verbatim from what happens in the book. And for a lot of people, that's exactly what they wanted to see. They wanted to see Jamie faint. They wanted to see them have those moments and say those words and look through the pictures of Brianna together and just have those moments of reconnection. And I thought that Katrina's acting specifically was so nerve-wracked and so anxious and at the same time just so elated. I felt like she just was able to convey that really, really well all in that moment. And both of them like just tentatively wondering if they could touch each other and all of that stuff. And then her embarrassment when Jordy, walks in on them was so perfect and cute. Those were some really, really great moments and very well acted and really kind of one of the pinnacles, I think, of this season or the series because they did such a good job of bringing those scenes from the book back into or on screen. I loved them. Thoughts?
Yeah, I loved all those small moments. I try to write notes when I'm watching this now so I can remember it. And I have all these notes about how much I liked the printing press and how they showed the glasses, and it was very much small, but they were awkward together, but it was also, they were really excited to see each other. And I think this show sings when they let them act and have these moments and they're not trying to force the thought into the viewer's mind. It's when they start doing voiceovers, speeding things up, trying to do callbacks to stuff that's unnecessary. That's you're ruining it for me now. Some of these first few episodes of this season have been some of the best because they haven't relied on that stuff that they've done in the past. So,
and I think
I love the beginning.
The first 10 minutes again, or an echo of obviously they're Jamie's perspective of the last 10 minutes of the last episode. And I think that was just so, I don't know that they've done that yet, that we've seen both perspectives, right? It was the midnight sun of Outlander and it was great. And, it was so great because what's going to happen, right? I was like, wait, is this when she comes in? I forgot. I didn't remember. It was so exciting. We knew it was happening and we were waiting for it. And I was nervous, knowing this thing was happening.
But, and also their physical, how they were so literally, I was watching it. I was like, oh my God, they're so physically close to one another and saying those lines to each other. And I think it is one of the best moments of this season the emotion is so just heightened, and his tears. And I'm going to say this, Sam Heughan is one of the best criers, like, because he's not overly like emotional, but it's that just longing for her. And their first kiss was so beautiful. And it all played out perfectly. And it like we said, it's that timing. It's not forced. It's natural. It lets it naturally unravel, and then they move on. And I just wish they would keep that pace throughout the whole entire episode. But I did love it. That beginning, it gave me hope.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, and so some people are like agreeing and saying they loved it. They love the book lines here on the YouTube comments, which are awesome. You guys, I'm sorry we haven't been looking at these every week because these are great.
Yeah.
Whoops. But they are jumping ahead to this other thing that I think we'll talk about here when they were showing the pictures with Bree, and there was this great moment, and then he jumps right into Willie. And there's been a lot of criticism about how quickly he jumps into that and like doesn't get doesn't feel the whole weight of Brianna so much. I think it's interesting because I watched it and I was like, whatever. And I think you guys were texting about it, and I like hadn't caught up on your text, and I read through and I was like, oh, that's a thing that's supposed to bother me. So I kind of got influenced by that. Like, I don't know that it did bother me at first, but when I thought about it, maybe I just didn't really think about it. Like I wasn't waiting for that moment for Jamie to find out about Brianna because I don't really like her. But no, it's not wrong. I just didn't really think about it. That didn't stick out to me, but I know it did to a lot of people.
Yeah.
It didn't bug me, and I didn't even think that. I was like, they were kind of having this moment of like, here's what's happened in the last 20 years, and here's our daughter, and oh wait, I also have this son. I didn't get that, but I don't know. People hate Willie.
I think the difference is that in the book, Jamie very distinctly goes to pieces over those pictures. Yeah. He can't even hold them all at once. She has to like take them from him and give them to him one at a time so that he can absorb them. And he's kind of going through them quickly. And again, it's a television show. They have pacing issues, but like show his fingers go across like the curve of her cheek, show his hands shaking, show something. And then of course, people were asking Meryl about it on Twitter, and she tweeted a sheet from the script where it says he goes to pieces.
So they cut it.
They cut it. Yeah, so I was wondering. Yeah, that was a bad call. That was
could have been bad. Think she didn't agree with how it ended? I didn't see who edited and who directed and who wrote it. I forgot to look.
Matt Roberts wrote it.
And a woman
who directed it. Female director, and I'm sorry that I don't know her name. Yeah. But yeah, it was cut, and we could sit and speculate why it got cut. Like maybe they didn't film it, maybe it didn't work, maybe Sam sucked in that scene. And they were like, cut that. There are reasons that it could have been cut. Yeah. But it's Norma Bailey is the name of that director. But I do wish that had been there. But the reason it sucks that he goes immediately to Willie, at least for a lot of people's perspective, is simply because it feels like he is pushing Brianna to the side because his mind immediately goes to Willie. It makes sense that his mind will go to Willie. He's his son that he knows already and has spent time with, and he's seeing, echoes of him in her face. And so obviously his mind goes there, but it feels like he's more proud of Willie. He feels like he's more connected to him. And that feels very false to Jamie's character. And also, this is something that our friend Karen brought up to us. Like, Jamie doesn't really trust Claire right now. And Willie is a secret that he has to keep because he has to keep him protected. And nobody knows about Willie. And for him to come back and just like kind of tell Claire when he isn't trusting her with a lot of other secrets, which is evident. It's not just that we know that he's got secrets. It's evident to Claire in this episode that he's keeping secrets from her. So for him to give her his biggest kind of secret in that moment is really not really honest with where they are, where their characters are. And it doesn't happen in the books that way. And that's fine. I like that he told her. I wish that Jamie did trust Claire right away. I just don't think it's honest that he would have trusted Claire right away.
Yeah. And also the fact that he, like you said, pushing her to the side, kind of like, well, I'm going to show you this child. This is the weight of Brianna. You have to remember, and I'm sure everybody does know, is that the reason why he made Claire go back in time was because she was pregnant with Brianna. and the weight of Brianna and wanting to know more about her. And I had a friend who compared, is not a book reader, who was like, it felt like after he's like, this is Brianna, she's looking through pictures, he takes off his spectacles at once. And that's when I thought he was going to break down. And then he starts, I have to show you something, Claire. She said it felt like soccer moms comparing photos of their kids. Like, oh, that's your kid? This is my kid,
Right.
And I just felt like I'm not a Brianna fan, but I am a fan of Jamie. And I know he would want to know more, or at least see more and experience this daughter and the fact that and I love this part, and I know some people didn't like it, when he says she has red hair like Faith, and he mentions his daughter, and just that emotional, like that made me tear up when he mentions Faith, because actually, I'm going to be honest, I actually forgot about that baby. But, anybody who's had a miscarriage, they will never forget that child. And so for him to make that comparison, but then to quickly move on, it just felt flat.
My guess is they did film it, like, because of how quickly then it probably just didn't work or something. So obviously maybe it was so bad that we would be like sitting here and it would have ruined the whole episode for us. So maybe it was the best decision, right?
Maybe. Or they're like, hey, we need to add 30 more seconds of them undressing. So let's just take out this one part.
Right.
Andrea on the YouTube asked, do you think they're downplaying her importance because of Sophie's shortcomings? I wish, but I don't think so. I still think Brianna's going to unfortunately be a big part of this series.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
That would be lovely, Andrea. Good thought. Nice thinking.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Seriously.
Let's go on to Fergus, who they meet out in the street. And this is our first glimpse of Cesar. I don't know how do you say his name. Anybody know?
Cesar dumb boy.
Thank you. I knew. He was so great. I was so happy that he was so good. I felt like I fully believed him as grown-up Fergus.
Yeah.
I fully, he sounds just like
charming.
The same kid, right?
Yeah.
And he was charming and he was sweet. And he says basically verbatim what Fergus says to her when he meets her in the book. And I loved him. And I think he's going to do great. And I don't even mind the wooden hand. Doesn't bother me.
I'm going to wish he had a real hand. But yeah, it's no, he was very charming. And just, you're right. He was just a kid grown up, like this guy that grew up in the brothels and knew how to talk to women and was a little schmoozer. He was great.
Yeah.
He's that kid that you don't see, you're just like, oh, that's just some geeky little kid. And then 20 years go by and you're like, hot damn.
Yeah.
Holy crap. And you're like, if only I was kinder to you earlier, but damn, good job.
I just thought he was sweet, Julie. You didn't have to go all gross on us.
Sexualized him.
Come on.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Speaking of sexualizing secondary characters, let's talk about Mr. Willoughby.
Ew. That was the weirdest segue ever.
That was a good one.
I couldn't even finish it with a straight face.
No,
there.
I didn't realize back then you had to pay extra if you wanted to lick a woman's elbow. I didn't realize it's that's more.
Well, I'm all for him wanting to lick elbows. I think it's that all he could afford was licking an elbow.
Okay.
I think that's all he could afford.
I thought it was more that he was into fetishes because of the foot thing.
Yeah.
But see, in the book, he's into this very specific Chinese fetish, which is racist.
Bound feet.
Right. Yeah. So, or even just feet in general because of the bound foot issue.
Yeah.
So the fact that they changed it to him just wanting to lick someone's elbow. Thank you. Thank you for at least changing it. And I thought that I did not feel the weight of any kind of racist stereotype when we met Willoughby. You do immediately in the book, because he barrels into Jamie and Claire calls him a little blue ball or something. So he's doing acrobatic stunts.
Yes,
when you meet him in the book. Mm-hmm. And then there's the whole foot thing, and there's a lot going on with him, and he can barely speak English and that kind of stuff. Well, and then here he is fully fluent in English. And the reason he had even changed his name makes sense. And he tells her that, and she's so respectful of his real name and calls him that. And, all of that. So I felt like, I don't know what it's like for viewers who don't read the book who just met Willoughby, like whether or not they feel like he's a racist caricature. But I mean, it is eons different than how he is in the book. And I was so thankful if they were going to do it and put him in the show. Thankfully, he's just another cohort and not this horrible caricature.
I don't think, and a lot of people I know are agreeing with that. They're like, okay, he's not as bad as the book. I still don't understand his point, but I'm like, here's the deal. He's going to be in the show. That's the thing. So I would rather have him like this than stereotype 101. And so when I watched it, I felt like, okay. And I actually liked his character. He was sweet. He was tentative. He was, for me, somebody I was like, okay, all right. I like, they did a good job. It's like they read That's Normal and Amy's post on how to fix Voyager.
Yeah. And I think that they have to Claire has to have a character that is outside of the Scottish 18th century. And that's what he is. In every season, she's had somebody to talk to that knows just a little bit more than, she's had Galis, she's had Ned Gowan, she had Master Raymond. And so I think she just always needs a character that she can bounce ideas off of, or who has a different set of cultural standards than the other people around her. And that allows her to have that kind of, not necessarily a camaraderie. It doesn't have to be a camaraderie, but at least be able to converse with somebody on a different level than she is with everybody else. Otherwise, she would always be conflicting with everyone. She needs somebody in her corner saying things like, this makes sense because of this. So, I mean, I think he'll be providing that role of somebody who's outside the Scottish cultural scene that Claire can relate to.
Really quick, Anna Serene, and I'm hoping she can explain this, is she goes, I love this Mr. Willoughby. He was so genteel, but Jamie's casual racism is kind of irritating. I'm hoping you're watching still. And
I can explain it.
Yeah, can you? Because I'm kind of, maybe I wasn't paying attention, which is sad,
Jamie picks him up by the scruff of his neck and puts him down on a stool. And then Jamie tells him to sit, stay, and behave like he's a dog. That's rude. That's rude as hell.
Okay,
I thought it was just because. Go ahead.
Do you think that's racism, or do you think that's just the way Jamie would treat Fergus if he was being an asshole? Is it just Jamie asserting authority? I'm just asking.
If he was a young boy, I could see Jamie treating him like that. But he's a grown man. And I don't remember him treating Rupert or Angus like that. I mean, maybe Willie, maybe, young Fergus. But he's not a boy. He's a grown man. And I think Jamie's treating him like a dog.
Okay.
Yeah, and didn't he say something like, he's weird, or he said something along those lines to
I thought that was just talking about his sexual, his desires. But I mean, no, and that's the thing. I was like, okay, I just was wondering because when I was tweeting, I was looking at GIFs to describe my reaction to Willoughby. So I guess I didn't catch that part. I'm sorry. But
well, I mean,
I agree. No, I agree.
I think that it'll show too, he and Claire are going to clash a lot more even than they used to, I think, as the season goes on, because she's not just, she's not a World War II nurse from the 40s anymore. Now she's a surgeon from the 60s, and she's had 2 more decades of feminism and 2 more decades of modernism and 2 more decades of kind of smashing the patriarchy a little bit. And so everything that happens in the 18th century it's gonna cut a little bit deeper to her now than it did when she was in her 20s. Just the same way every woman as we get older, all of the injustices that we see cut a little bit deeper as we get older. And she's seeing even more and more. And Jamie, on the other hand, has not had her as a mitigating influence, and he's been through a lot of shit. And right now he's smuggling and writing seditious pamphlets. And I just don't think that he's necessarily, he hasn't softened any in the time that she's been away. So they're going to clash a lot more. And I think that this is one of the ways that you'll see them clash, is the way he treats Willoughby or even treats other people.
Yeah. And also the fact that he's hiding something, which if you didn't get it, Jamie's hiding something from Claire. They mentioned it multiple times in various.
And it was
"Me
obvious
lord,
on the looks of some
yeah,
faces,
me
right?
lord, does she know? Shh, don't tell her. You know,
He's hiding more than one thing. I did like how as an adaptation, they made us think that maybe he does have something going on with the madam. You know, maybe he does have other things up his sleeve that we don't even know about. And that could still be the case, you know, like it's an adaptation. They can kind of throw wrenches in it however they want. And I enjoy that aspect of it. And I think that if I were watching it as a non-book reader, I would assume that he's lying to her about the women at the brothel. I would assume that he's got a lot more up his sleeve than what he's saying.
And to be honest, I think he needs to be lying about the woman in the brothel. Like, it's really unrealistic to think that he hasn't had multiple women. You know, for one thing, I can understand. I can believe it more for Claire, right? She had the benefit of knowing that she could look for Jamie at some point and find out if he was alive, and potentially go back if he was, right?
Right.
She could have that hope, even if it was just buried deep down, like of thinking I could do this someday. I just need to get through my life as it is now. Like, he thinks that she's dead and gone forever. Like, he doesn't think she's ever coming back.
And he has no way to even try.
Right.
No, none. Well,
She's
she
the
does
one holding power.
Yeah,
Right.
she does say to him, I knew when I left that you had lived, when I found out you were alive, I knew you had lived a life. Like you had lived, you know, you went on living. And that was her way of saying, I think, yeah, you've slept around. And that's why he clarified and said, I've never loved anybody like the way I loved you. But he never said,
Right.
I never slept with anybody.
It makes a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's a good looking guy. Of course they're going to, you know, and he's in a brothel of all places. He didn't go to a nunnery, even though I think they would have slept with him too.
I think too that it's forefront on both of their minds. I mean, he asks about Frank, and she's not forthcoming about whether or not her and Frank were sleeping together. She doesn't say outright, no, you know, we did it first and then we stopped, or we, you know, if we did for a few years and it fizzled, or yeah, we've been having sex up until he died. I mean, she doesn't give him the deets, and he doesn't either. He doesn't say, okay, it was Mary McNabb in 47, and then it was, you know, I mean, he doesn't give her any details either. And I think that'll come back up to, you know, bite them in the ass. But like at the same time, getting reconnected is not necessarily about having that talk right away. You don't have that talk right away on any new relationship, and that she really has no idea where she stands with him, and him likewise. He's flat out asking her, are you here for me? Because it makes a huge difference. Everything that he does from here on out, it matters whether or not she's there for him or whether or not she's just there. I don't know why he thought she would be there otherwise, to be honest.
To deliver news of Bree. I was like, that is the worst. Like, okay, see you later. That's your daughter.
It's kind of sad if you think about it. Like, he's been so rejected by, like his life has been like just so shit for 20 years that like he really doesn't believe she's there for him, which is really kind of sad.
Yeah,
that is sad. That is sad. Also, but you don't also have the talks about people you slept with after you guys are like post-coital. Like they're cuddling, and she's like, I know you lived a life. It's like, no, don't do that. Don't be that person after you guys sleep together. That's not when to have the conversation.
On YouTube, Tina says, I don't think it would have been realistic to have them both sharing every detail upon their lives upon their first reunion. Like,
But that's one of the reasons the voiceover bothered me so bad, is because she even says in the voiceover, we filled each other in on the details of our time apart. And I'd be like, no, the fuck you did not. Like, there's not anything.
You get like a lifetime to do that. Yeah.
No, you're not filling each other in. And that's why that stupid thing was so ill-placed.
Voiceover
just made me angry thinking about it again.
Yeah, it's real dumb. But go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think we should talk about, some people are talking about Ned Gowan getting a nice little shout out and what's to come there. Thank you, Courtney, for bringing that up.
We'll hear about him again.
Yeah.
I mean,
what does it mean? That was my favorite. I saw some Outlander group today. Some girl who clearly has never read the book said, why did they bring Ned up? And I was like, oh, just wait.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Just wait. Just keep
I guess
reading.
I guess somebody was like pointing out somebody didn't post about all the Easter eggs in this episode, like from the books to like the Ned Gowan shout outs. And I'm just like, I was just looking at Jamie's cheese grated back. So
Yeah, right, exactly. I wasn't counting
Also,
these things.
wouldn't Ned Gowan be dead by now? Like, he was 60, I feel like, at least in that first episode, first season, and it's been 20 years.
Maybe.
They didn't live that long.
yeah.
Maybe he was just like 50.
Yeah, that or he had really bad sun damage and he was like really 30. But
Now, do you want like a senile old man as your lawyer? Like,
He's got lots of experience.
and cannot read anymore or see.
or he's the only lawyer in the area. He's like, suckers.
He's the Jacoby and Myers of the Highlands.
David Allen.
Right.
So let's discuss young Ian really quickly, who makes his appearance in this episode. I forget the name of the guy who plays young Ian.
Nikki knows. Oh no, Nikki doesn't know it. Sorry, that was the other guy.
No idea.
But I do love his little entrance and his like really polite way of trying to just kind of dismiss this woman who he thinks is a little nuts. And then realizing that it's his aunt and still being like, all right, okay, I'll see you later. Like, I just thought his scene was really cute and really great.
Yeah.
I think some people thought it was weird. Like, it was a weird way to introduce him, and it was like an awkward scene. I thought it was cute.
Yeah, I thought it worked.
That pacing worked.
John Bell.
That for me was perfect. Like, okay, you introduced him. You guys got out of the way. See you later. Goodbye.
Mhm.
You didn't have to spend too much time on that.
Somebody
And it
said
showed
Bell.
that Claire's got like a little, what?
John Bell. Is that his name?
John Bell, that's right. And
Okay.
it showed a little bit of like Claire's naivete, like about how people are going to receive her. She's like, hi, I'm your aunt. So
Right.
great to
I
meet
was in
you. I know
America,
your
but now I'm back.
I know your mom and dad. You know, like
Yeah.
it's just, she doesn't, it's like she has no scruples whatsoever, just like letting the cat out of the bag. And it seems like that would have been a very strange way to chat with somebody like that. Like I just feel like she should have been more hesitant. I don't know.
Agreed. And it's also like letting loose, like he could just send a little post back home and unleash the cats out of all of the
Right.
bags.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just kind of like, what?
Yeah.
Weird.
It definitely, with her introduction, he's like, I thought you were dead. No, I'm not.
So true.
Like, well, can you explain to him? Like, okay. There could have been just like, oh, well, your uncle will be back soon enough. He'll explain everything. See you
Yeah.
later. I'll leave a message. I'll
little
tell him you
more.
came by.
Maybe she's just so afraid of being like seen as a hooer. But even that, like, I don't think that she does care. She goes down and has brunch with the ladies, which is a great scene. Straight from the book,
yeah.
too. Like,
Yeah.
straight from the book, which is
That was a great
great
scene.
I don't know. Do they say the thing about the finger up the butt in the book? Let me find out.
No.
I don't know, but like I said, it
think
reminded
so.
me of Sex in the City. I just wanted like Carrie, like
it was
which one was
awesome.
Carrie Bradshaw? One of them looked just like Winona Ryder. I'm not kidding you. The girl who was talking to her I was like, looks like Winona Ryder from Beetlejuice. Like,
Right.
Oh, really?
yeah, I did, but I loved it. I thought that was just it was lightheartedness and yeah, when you put your finger up his arsehole or whatever, his bum hole. I don't know what they were saying. And you just go, just like they know a lot about sex. And they made Claire embarrassed and she just they know a lot about sex. So
I love
liked
that she was like trying to actually them about birth
Yes.
control, and they're like, "Oh, honey, don't even. Please take a
Yes.
seat. Do
Shove a
this."
sponge filled with vinegar up there.
yeah.
Dorcas,
A nice yeast infection.
Dorcas does tell Claire in the book to stick her finger up his bum. So
Dorcas, what a
Oh,
great name.
Dorcas.
Diana has been wheeling and dealing this stuff since the early 90s, you guys. She knows what's up.
So that's not new, that sex thing. I thought that was a new thing. I just read about that in Cosmo last week.
That's right.
If you were picking up an edition of Cosmo, I'm defriending you.
I'm not picking up Cosmo to get my latest sex tip. 17 ways to please him. Have you tried the
No,
finger-
she's just opening up Voyager and going
Yeah.
page 420. Put
I'm
it up.
going to Diana for my sex tip.
Of course, I go to that one. Put it up his bumhole.
Yep, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Emma said it does work. I assume that's what she's talking about.
I'm telling you, this is seriously Sex in the City. This is perfect. All is missing is Cosmos and just some blatant white women complaining. So
She's
perfect.
even the title of that chapter is even the whore's brunch. Like Diana made brunch cool. Like talking about anal fingering and at brunch was cool way earlier. If you were
Right.
Diana.
Literally an episode in Sex in the City where they're in the back of the car and he's like, stop smoking. And she goes, excuse me, sir, we're talking about up the butt. We need to smoke.
This deserves a cigarette, sir.
Candace,
Because it's Charlotte. Remember, it's the episode where she calls up all the ladies.
Charlotte.
This is what my boyfriend wants me to do.
Oh my
But
goodness.
back when this show was good, before they did the movies.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Anyway, back to Claire's education on butts. I just thought that was a great scene. It was perfect, but then it led, and no pun intended when I just said but, and it was great, and then it led to the end scene, and that's where I was like, no.
Why?
Terrible way to end an episode number 1. We don't need these gotcha moments all the time.
No, we don't.
A gotcha rape moment, nonetheless.
Right.
Will she or won't she? Tune in next week, 7 Central.
Will he get it in or not?
And here's my thing is like, she's been there for less than 24 hours and already she got threatened with rape.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so absurd.
Michelle, this is the rapiest show. Heather, not another rape threat. Like that's
I would have been like, I don't know.
It's ridiculous because for an adaptation to stick so close to the books with dialogue and everything else.
Yeah.
Why in the hell is this the thing that you're going to make sure you can't do it the way the book has it done? Because in the book, he meets Claire on the stairs to the basement, thinks she's a whore, and doesn't try to rape her, doesn't even try to get her to have sex with him for money. He just is like, hey, do you want to help me like find this contraband? I'll go in with you. Like he just tries to get her to help him out and get some extra money that way. Like he's not even doing anything to her. And so this is just such a deviation and at the same time, so predictably stupid.
Well, and it's also, how many times has she been threatened to be raped? I would have been like, all right, you know what? Not my first rodeo. Come at me, bro. Let's go. Like, I would have learned a couple of things. And like, I don't know, hit him in the ball sack or something like that. And she stabbed a man in the stuff between his ribs. I mean.
Well, we didn't have time to see what she's going to do because they did the whole ending.
Yeah. I was over it. I was like, you could have ended it with as Nikki so eloquently puts, my favorite tagline ever, the Breakfast Whore Club. We could have ended it with there, right as they said butthole, and she go, oh, that's where they should have ended it, like butthole.
Wait, Jamie just says that we see that she kills him in the preview, so it's not really a cliffhanger.
Oh, what? I don't have access to the preview.
Yeah, I don't watch the preview.
I did. The preview did show up, but I didn't watch it. Because I'm like, oh,
well, way to ruin it, Stars. What was the point of that?
Exactly. Like,
that's just, I don't know. Someone should count.
That was not a good.
People have been raped in this show and just put a number. Like there should be a ticker box.
Well, and somebody out, Courtney said, but also in every book, it's like not another rape threat. So it's just that the books are also like have a lot of rape too. This is just like an added one.
It is
also not.
It didn't need to be added.
Right.
Not
there's plenty rape.
Yeah, not that some guy finding her on the stairs and trying to concoct a scheme is a thrilling plot line, but no one needs to I got it. Let's just swap it for a rape.
Like that's it. It's like they don't know how to fill in the last few minutes and they go, which one should we do? Should we do some more dialogue? Should we have another sex scene? I got it. Rape.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So needs more of rape.
You know what I would have been happy with at the end of this episode? Claire laying back in the bed. She comes up from the horse brunch. She lays back in the bed and she just enjoys her post-coital, post-orgasmic like life. Like she's just like, that was aces. Good job coming back from the future, because that's exactly what I needed. And she could have just luxuriated in the linens for a little while, and like we could have just focused on her like happiness.
Because there were some really great moments, like when he was awake in the morning and like kissed her goodbye. I thought that was really cute and realistic. You didn't like it?
I loved it.
Oh yeah, your face looked like you're about to throw up.
Well, sorry, I'm just that
throw up face and love face, same thing. That was great. I think their intimacy was great. I do. I think it was like the beginning of the sex scene. It wasn't great. I think it was a little too much. But like when they said, your breakfast is here. And she's like, aren't you hungry? He's like, yeah, I am. And then he goes down. Like, great.
Yes.
Like, good
Very
job.
cute.
Like, that was like old OG Jamie Fraser right there.
Yeah. And like he's watching her sleep.
Yeah.
Like he's like sitting up on his elbow watching her sleep and like playing with her. And it's so flippin' adorable. I love every second of it.
Yep.
Only thing that I missed in that moment is in the book, he makes her like tell him what Brianna looks like. He says, draw her for me.
Yeah, that's right.
They like hold hands and she like explains like what Brianna has of her and what Brianna has of him. And that is so parental.
That would have been good to end on, I think, is just the continuation of that discussion, because it was so quick and who knows, maybe during their dinner scene when she did the horrible voiceover, they were talking about Brianna, but that would have been so sweet and on just a fade out of him asking more questions. I mean, my God, in season 1, he asked more questions about airplanes than he did about his own damn daughter. Yeah. I mean, honestly. So I think just end it on a happy note. Not everything has to be like horrible. And that's it. It was,
especially since this was such a hyped episode, and the majority of the episode it's a good episode. It's a love, they're reconnecting. There's all these good feelings. And then like high unnecessary drama at the end she's back. That's clearly something terrible gonna happen now.
Right.
Yeah, and like next week it's gonna be like boom, 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 boom. Things are gonna happen. Like they're gonna fight, and it's gonna, like crazy stuff's gonna happen, and it's gonna be like right into the mix. And that's of course, like they're not gonna just like sit around and like have sex for another like 4 episodes. So things are gonna happen. It's gonna like move really quickly, and that's great. I really hated the ending.
It was unnecessary. Like I said, it just ended on a nice note. Like asking more questions about his daughter, or just having a discussion, or asking her about her medical practice, or just end it where they can just be happy for just a brief moment. Not everything has to be a soap opera cliffhanger where it's you smell the fart acting like that. So
Brianna comes back, you mean? So clearly next week we're still going to be in Edinburgh. Are we going to ever make it back to Lollybrook for the actual drama that would be fun to watch? No, we're going to watch them put a man in a cask, but whatever.
No, I mean, next week is good. I think it's a good episode. I think you should tune in.
How many more are there? There's only 5 more of the season?
7
I think.
More. Yeah. There's 7 more.
This was 6. Okay.
Got it. Yeah.
So keep tuning in. It'll be over before Christmas.
Wow. What are we going to do for the next 3 years?
I don't know.
3 years.
We're going to watch that. What's that new show?
Like Game of Thrones.
What's that other?
Over forever.
What's that
show?
No,
we're all going to go see The Spy Who Dumped Me.
Spy Who Dumped Me. Yeah.
I'm hoping that
Discovery of Witches.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. I'm hoping that there's also a new BBC show that Kit Harington is in. I want to see that. It's about the gunpowder plot to kill James I. I want to see that. I'm hoping it comes.
We have The Crown season 2.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Stranger
Things.
Stranger Things coming out.
I read a bad headline today.
Don't read that. I almost went to read the critic reviews, and I was like, never mind.
No.
I'm not reading
I saw positive stuff. I didn't see.
I'm not reading any critic reviews because they didn't give us screeners.
I know. Clearly, they gave them out.
Yeah.
And they're filming Man in the High Castle season 3.
All right. Well, it can't get worse than season 2.
It's only going up there.
I think we're going far down the rabbit hole.
I didn't watch season 2 of that show.
The new show that Stars is doing, the Sweet Bitter or something.
Sweet Bitter?
Yeah, Sweet Bitter.
Sweet Bitter, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That starts in oh no, they're just starting to film now. That'll be a bit.
Well, if there's anything you guys online want us to watch, let us know. Hopefully we have free access to it.
We will see if we can get it for free.
Yeah. Let us know.
Becca, you and I could go back and do a Riverdale old live hangout.
Beth binged. I didn't realize, Beth, that you binged Riverdale in May, right?
I did binge it because I wanted
Are you
to.
watching it now?
I haven't watched it yet. I haven't watched the second season yet.
Yeah, Nikki and I just started it.
My daughter keeps asking me to, but we have to watch it together. I'm not letting her watch it without me. It's like kind of crazy.
Yeah. It's pretty innocent,
A
actually.
little steamy. Yeah. Some of the points.
Yeah.
Oh, she's been watching Glee. She's been binging Glee from the beginning, and I didn't realize that show was so raunchy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's not for us.
No.
But the whole plot of the first season is about a girl who gets pregnant and tells everybody it's through a hot tub. And then everybody's gay. Everybody's gay. She's trying to figure out, but I don't understand. I thought she liked boys. I'm like, well, she did. She's bisexual. There's just a lot going on.
Yeah,
a lot to discuss.
I had to explain why boys try to hold off their orgasm. It was a
lot.
Gosh,
really? Oh boy, that's a lot of things to explain.
Just good Lord.
Show about
and in
singing.
between, some sweet acapella.
Yeah.
Journey karaoke.
And then the cast of Glee, they all went nuts in their personal lives. So she's looking them up and she's like, oh, he's been arrested for child pornography.
Right.
What's that, Mom?
The other guy killed himself, right? Or OD.
The other guy's dead.
Yeah.
OD'd.
Then there's Leah Michelle. I don't know.
And there's the other girl, and she married Winston from Mumford and Sons. It's
so crazy.
Oh, that's right. She did. I just saw just recently.
It happened last year or something.
Oh, was it? Maybe I had pictures of their wedding.
I don't understand it. I don't understand.
We should pick a winner, and I think Becca, you should pick a winner since we did YouTube for the first time.
Oh my gosh, we pulled a fast one on all y'all. Picking for the YouTube comments. Okay, there's some good ones. Let's go. I am going to this week. Our winner is going to be Heather Harris.
Yay, Heather!
Hey, Heather.
Have we given her a gift before?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Congratulations, Heather. So, Heather, if you're still watching, please send us an email at admin@thats-normal.com with your address, and we will send you out something. And please put your name in there so we remember that we gave it to you. Yes. Sometimes people just have their first letter in their email, and I'm like, I don't remember what this was for because we give away a lot of things. So, please do.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And if you did, you have more to say, go on the blog and comment, and we'll go and go through those and talk about that stuff too, because that's a good way to keep the conversation going if you want to talk there. And join us next week.
Yeah, we'll be back next week, next Monday, right?
For Creme de Moth. That's the name of the episode. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Is it moth?
Or is it meth?
I thought it was menth.
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 It's moth.
Heather said she won a few weeks ago.
She did?
That may be the one that I haven't mailed yet.
Or maybe
you haven't mailed it yet? All right, never mind. Sorry, Heather. We'll pick somebody else. All right, hold on. Hold that thought. Okay, please. Guys, you're changing all your names. Okay, the winner for this week, the second winner is Courtney Juvland.
Woo!
Yay! So Courtney, same instructions for Heather.
Yay.
Admin@thats-normal.com. Please email us.
Yay!
Or tell us right now that Craigslist that shit, Heidi said. She's like, hey, Heather.
Craigslist.
Oh,
so congrats, Courtney. Please email us and we'll get it out to you. Thanks for chatting, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.